let's talk about. I was thinking maybe I'll talk about SMEs, SMEs in PNG, predominantly SMEs.
Setting'e ve sattı
In
düz.
I'll just mute these guys. Yeah, predominantly SMEs in PNG. Why? Because I used to be an SME owner in PNG, so um, it's something I still do. I still own an SME in PNG, so it's something I'm quite familiar with and have experience with. So it's probably something I can discuss. Um,
As jump master,
So,
I promise to find us a good place
the
to kill everyone.
conditions
I'm the jump master. The path
for
to victory begins
SMEs
with me.
to sort of, I would say,
Again.
flourish are not very good um, in PNG, and it's quite a harsh economic climate. This is hard to. This is probably not the game I should be playing when I'm trying to chat about this, but
Need a new angle on
probably
this.
every little breaking game I'll probably add on to the topic. But yeah, so the economic or the business climate for SMEs and SME growth in PNG, it's not very good, I would say. Particularly as when you think of a SME, it's in a sort of very fragile state when you start off. It would be like the easiest comparison is just like a baby. It's just a baby trying to grow up in the world, and it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of care, it takes a lot of work to ensure that they call it the incubation. I think they call it the incubation stage. And you know, you see around like around town, especially in Port Moresby, you see like incubation centers and stuff like that are trying to promote SME growth in the country, and in particularly in the town areas like Port Moresby.
Humans are the only animal that can blush? What's the point?
So I think that in terms of innovation, we got a lot of innovative people. We got a lot of talented, just pure talent, like purely talented Papua New Guineans. That's what I'd like to say. That if you know Papua New Guinea, and if you've been there, lived there,
Eyes on the prize.
you would realize that there's a lot of skilled and smart people, and innovative people, and it's a real shame
Let's head that way.
when with how hard it is to build your own SME or build your own business. It's a real shame because I mean, in any country, it doesn't matter where you are. It's going to be hard work, starting from nothing, starting from the bottom. But particularly so when there's not much of assistance. There's not much of a helping hand, you know. There's not much of a helping hand given to those people starting off with nothing. And during that so-called incubation period, those early stages of SME's life,
First blood?
it's very
Things
crucial
I
that
care about.
that you know they survive. They survive things.
Attention.
They survive.
Bring Spar with 45 seconds to go.
It's going back to my example with it being a child. Wait, let me just get this gun before I get the wrong gun. Yeah, so just like a child, it needs that guidance, that support, for it to flourish, right? For it to grow, just to grow, survive those early period, those early years. And from my experience,
Launching to a new angle.
there's probably a little bit, but the information is not readily available. Yeah, the resources needed to guide those young SMEs are not there, and you just pretty much gotta wing it and just use your networks, use your talent, use your skills that you've hopefully gained before starting an SME to ensure that your SME survives that crucial period. So I mean, you can't blame it all on the government, but I think that the government could do more. And I mean, I hate to always blame the government for everything. I hate to blame them for every single thing because it can't be. I mean, they're a representation of the community. They're the representation of society. So you can't put all the blame on it. But saying that, they are also in a position
Got to the next level.
to make the right decisions, to make the really crucial decisions that will impact
I've grabbed my
the
upgrade,
society
team
they
people.
represent. So, whilst they don't take all the blame, I believe that they do take most of it. Because SMEs and SME businesses are, I believe, from my knowledge, are the driving force to the economy. They are what drives the economy. They are, it's very healthy. If you have a healthy SME sector, that is a good indication that you have a healthy economy, right? And
Recharging shields.
hold on. I just got freaking.
Shield.
Oh, what was I saying? The SMEs are kind of like the driving force. I would say like the engine that's pushing the economy along. I mean, you do have your big companies, your big corporate companies. Sorry, what was I saying? Geez. Yeah, SMEs are like the driving force. It's a good representation. If you have a healthy SME like sector in your country, then it's a good sign of a healthy economy, in my opinion, because it's like the innovation, all the young, innovative like SMEs, especially the innovative SMEs, are pushing the boundaries, pushing the economy, like expanding the economy outwards, because they'll be trying newer things, experimenting with newer things, taking the risks, right? So I'll just put this in the background and try and talk a little bit. But yeah, so SMEs, because they need to innovate, they're the ones that will be taking the risks. I'm not saying that existing companies don't take risks. They always do. But they will be taking, like SMEs will be taking risk in different areas, experimenting with different things, with technology, and as long as people are exposed to external ideas, like external ideas from other countries, from the globe, right? They'll be saying things like just simple things like, for example, um, say for example Uber, you know, I see Uber like Uber type business popping up around PNG, mostly around PNG. So it's basically like copy paste, you know. It's like, hey, I've seen this done in this country, I've seen this done in America, I've seen it done in Australia. So why couldn't I do it in Papua New Guinea? Why couldn't I change the environment and customize it to this environment, to the Papua New Guinea environment? So that there is, I mean, you could raise the argument that there's not much innovation there because it's a copy paste, but there will be an innovation once you apply it, because one thing that works in one environment cannot be easily copied and pasted into another environment. It's not a straight copy paste, because one thing that works in one country won't necessarily work in another country. And you know, there's countless examples. So they just tweak it here and there. That's where the innovation comes in. When you're tweaking the business or the whatever your idea to a different market, to a different environment. So there's that innovation. Yes, you could say it's a copy paste, but I believe it's better to have that and bringing in new ideas than having a stagnant economy. Stagnant as in everyone's doing the same thing, everyone's producing the same goods, everyone's producing the same services, and it just becomes stagnant. And eventually, if there were no innovation, it just wouldn't work. Like, the economy would struggle, in my opinion. So that's why I'm saying SMEs are the driving force, and the driving force of the economy. And I'm just speaking off the top of my head, and I could be saying bullshit. So if you agree, you agree. If you disagree, you disagree. Like, I'm not going to please everyone with what I'm saying, but that's just from my experience and my knowledge that, you know, more could be done for SMEs. And I'm like I said, it's not all the government's fault. Like, we as a community, we as people of the citizens of Papua New Guinea need to step up as well and take the responsibility that, you know, if there's not a good, healthy SME sector, then that's on us too. Like, and it's on us as well for electing the leaders in government to ensure that, you know, more is done for SMEs, and especially in those crucial growth stages, those early infancy stages of their SME. So yeah, that's just my little rant for the day. Yeah, so it's a very harsh environment, business environment for SMEs in PNG, and I hope that one day it does change for the better. I hope things do improve. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will, but whether it will improve in my time, I don't know. But yeah, my advice to anyone that's thinking of making their own SME, go for it. Just take the risk, take the plunge, because the benefits do outweigh the negatives. As in, you can fall down, you can fail, but the knowledge and the wisdom, the knowledge, the skills, the networks that you build from taking on a venture such as creating your own SME, there's nothing that can compare to it, because you learn so much in such a short time, and it's good for your personal growth as well, because you grow as a person as well. And you always hear that as well when people say, "Oh, I grew with the business." It's true. You do grow with the business, and you learn a whole lot of things. You learn things you might never have even touched on.
Don't make that face,
So
Daddy. Some
yeah,
things
just
are
take the risk,
inevitable.
Follow me to
because
victory.
the benefits from taking that risk definitely are positive. Yeah, that's my rant, my little tutorial rant for the day.